Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into the really powerful ideas from Brené Brown's book, Braving the Wilderness. We're going to get into what it really means to find a place where you truly belong, even if, and this is the key, even if that place means you have to stand all by yourself. So, let's jump in.
So, what does it actually mean to belong? It's a question we've all wrestled with, right? Is it about finding your crew, your tribe? Or is it something deeper, more personal? That's the big question we're going to unpack today. And you know, what's so interesting about Brené Brown's work is that her whole quest to understand belonging, it didn't start in some research lab. Nope. It started with a single, really painful memory from when she was a kid, a story that totally shaped her work, and one I think a lot of us can see ourselves in.
So first up, let's talk about that ache of not belonging. This first part of her story is all about that universal feeling, of being on the outside looking in. It's a kind of pain that, as we're about to see, can really define us if we're not careful.
Okay, so picture this. Brené is in 8th grade, and she puts everything she has into trying out for the high school drill team, the Bear Cadets. For her, this was it. This was her ticket to finally belonging. And she killed the audition. But in the end, they just told her she wasn't Bear Cadet material.
But here's the kicker. The truly devastating part, it wasn't even the rejection from the team. It was what happened right after. She gets in the car with her family, and nobody says a word, just silence. And in that awful quiet, she felt like she'd lost her place in the only group that was supposed to always be there for her, her own family.
In that one moment, man, it just sent her down this path of becoming a professional fitter-in. You know the type. She got amazing at reading people, figuring out what they wanted, and then morphing into that person just so she'd be accepted. But here's the thing about being a chameleon. It's incredibly lonely, and you completely lose sight of who you actually are.
Okay, so that brings us to a huge turning point in her story. After all those years of trying to fit in, she stumbles upon this totally different, kind of paradoxical idea about what it means to belong.
She comes across this quote from Maya Angelou, who was a hero of hers. And for 20 years, get this, 20 years, it just made her mad. Belonging nowhere? That sounded like her worst nightmare, not some kind of freedom. But then, one day, it just clicked. She finally understood. The quote wasn't about being lonely. It was about the incredible freedom that comes from belonging to yourself first.
And that right there, that's the fundamental difference we're talking about. Fitting in is all about changing who you are to get other people to approve of you. But true belonging, that's about being who you are for you. It's about showing up as your real, authentic, messy self, because your sense of belonging can never, ever be bigger than your own self-acceptance.
So this is the big definition that came out of all her research. Let's kind of pull it apart for a sec. It's a spiritual practice. See, it's not a place you find, it's something you cultivate inside yourself. It's about belonging to yourself so deeply that it gives you the guts to stand with other people, but also to stand alone when you have to.
And this is where that amazing metaphor of the wilderness comes into play. The wilderness is that raw, vulnerable, courageous place you step into when you decide to be who you are instead of who everyone else wants you to be. Yeah, it can be scary, but as she says, it's also the bravest and most sacred place you will ever stand.
All right, so we get the what, but the big question is how? How do we actually do this? How do we get brave enough to step into that wilderness? Well, Brown gives us 4 really concrete practices to help us navigate it. So these are the 4 practices. Think of them as your toolkit. First, people are hard to hate close up. Move in. Stop judging from afar. Second, speak truth to bullshit. Be civil. We'll talk more about that. Third, hold hands with strangers. Find those tiny moments of shared humanity. And finally, strong back, soft front, wild heart. Basically, have a strong spine, but keep your heart open.
Okay, let's dig into that second one for a minute. Speak truth to bullshit. First off, you gotta know what you're up against. A liar. See, a liar knows the truth, but chooses to deny it. A bullshitter, they don't care about the truth at all. They'll say whatever gets them what they want. And that makes bullshit, in many ways, an even bigger enemy of the truth. So, if you're gonna call out the BS, how do you do it without just blowing everything up? The answer is civility. And civility is not about being polite or avoiding conflict. It's the really hard work of staying in the conversation with someone you completely disagree with without dehumanizing them. It's how you can have conflict but still maintain a connection. Stepping into that wilderness, that takes a ton of trust, especially trust in yourself. So Brené gives us this amazing tool, the acronym BRAVING.
It's like a checklist for trust. You can ask yourself, am I setting clear boundaries? Am I being reliable? Am I holding myself accountable? It's a really practical way to build up that self-trust you absolutely need to stand alone.
So when you put it all together, what you realize is that this whole journey, it isn't about finding some group out there. The path to true belonging, well, it actually leads back home, back to ourselves.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It completely flips the script on everything we're ever taught about fitting in. The goal isn't to change yourself so other people will accept you. The goal is to accept yourself so fully that you can connect with others for real.
So that's really the heart of it all. True belonging isn't something you have to go out and find. It's not a physical place or a specific group of people. It's something you carry inside of you. It's the courage to be exactly who you are and to belong to yourself, 100%, no matter where you find yourself standing.
And that really just leaves us with one last question to chew on, a really personal one. Just think about your own life, at your job, with your family, with your friends. Where is your wilderness? Where are you being called to stand alone, to speak your truth, and to be brave?